Yes. Hi guys. So last class we see and the components, right? So we are having the two type of components. One is class components and another one is functional component. So in detail we are seeing functional components, right? So how we can pass the functional component, how we can call the components, functional components from outside, that means file based components, and also how we can call multiple components in one file. Okay, how to export and how to import the function components we see, right? So now today we can discuss about the class components. Okay, so this one also we already seen introduction. So before React 16.8, class components were the only the way to track the state and life cycle on a React component. Okay, so previous, so we are having, so in 16.8 we have only one option to track the life cycle of to track the state and life cycle of the React component. So now, after 16.8, now we are working on React 18 point, so something 3, right? So in this, after 16.8, so whatever functionality follows the class component, same functionality functional components also follows. So same state and life cycle methods also having. So we can achieve whatever life cycle methods are having inside class component. Same thing we can achieve using functional component. So that's why so everyone is preferring the functional component. So it's the same way. So we can look into it. What is the class component states and how class component lifecycle works in React, we can see. Okay. So then within the addition of hooks, function components are now almost equivalent to the class component. Okay. So now almost equivalent to the class component. So the difference are so minor, so that whatever minor differences are, so those things we cannot use in our applications, in our React application. So smaller, very smaller minor differences are there. So those minor differences we cannot use in our applications in real time. We cannot use. Even though function components are preferred, there are no current plans to removing the class component from React. Maybe in future they can have to remove because of when we use. So if it is a technical, if it is a programming language, okay, we have to follow. There is no other way. So, but in this, in Java, the compulsory we have to use the class component. We have to use the class and we have to use the object. So those things, so we have to use it. There is no other alternative. But in JavaScript, so we can use either class component or functional component. So whenever we are using the class component, so we are having some confusion. Okay, so that's why so everybody is preferring the functional components. Okay, so the next one, React component, create a class component. How we can create a class component, we can see. Yeah, first one, create a class component. When creating a React class component, the component name must be starts with uppercase letter. We either functional component or class component. So you have to must start with the capital letter. That component name, we have to start with the capital letter. The component has to include the extent. So whenever we are creating a class component, it must to extend a React component statement, a React dot component statement. This statement, so what it is doing? So without this extends, so we cannot work with, we are unable to work with the React class component. So compulsory we have to extend a React component statement, React dot component statement. This statement creates a inheritance to the React component. Okay, so whenever we are using any extend keyword anywhere in the class, so that follows the inheritance. Inheritance means, so whatever parent class is, whatever class we are extending, so that class component, that parent class properties and methods we are importing to the child component. Child component. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so this and gives the component access to the React component functions. Okay, whenever we are using, so what is the syntax of inheritance? So what is the syntax of inheritance? Class and parent class. So first we have to create a parent class. This is a parent class. So then when we use the inheritance method, so class, then child class, extends, then parent class. Okay. So this way we are having the inheritance. Okay. What will happen? This is a separate class. This is a child class. Whatever properties or methods are there, so all these properties and methods access to this class using this extends inheritance concept. So this is the syntax of inheritance. Okay. So the component also required a render method. This method returns the HTML. Whenever we are using the class component, we have to use the render method. Inside render also we have a return method. Okay. To return the HTML. So finally, whatever business logic is happening inside class component or functional component, finally we have return to browser what language. So finally, we have to return HTML language only. We have to return to HTML. Okay. Okay. So the next one is component constructor. Component constructor. So whenever we are using the components, class components, so compulsory we have to create a constructor. So it's a small classes, so no need to create a constructor. So whenever we are in real time, so compulsory we have to use the constructor. Okay, so we have to use the constructor. Without constructor, so we cannot work the real time application. That means, so it's not a secure, it's not a secure way. Okay, so the next one, the constructor function is where you initiate the component properties. Whenever we are initiating, so immediately we have to create a constructor. We have to create a constructor. Okay, so the next one, so in the React component, property should be keep in object called state. Object called state. So whenever you have to pass any properties like function argument, so inside of constructor we have to create a super class. We have to create a super class. Okay, super method or statement which executes the parent components constructor function. So whatever parent class is there, so if you want to use or if you want to execute those components or method, so we have to use the super method. We have to use the super method. Okay. So then after that, the constructor function is also where you honor the inheritance, the parent component by including the super statement, which execute. Super statement can execute the whatever parent methods or properties are having. So those to execute the parent class properties or methods, we have to use the super method. Okay. So the super method can have a right to access all the React dot component, whatever parent class. So this React dot parent is a React.component is a parent class of our custom component. So we can access whatever properties or methods are having inside of React component. So we can access all those things. We can access all those things. Okay. So we can see a simple class, how we can execute it. Where is this one? Here it is. This is the one. So first we can, where is our index.js? So here it is. So we can create a class called, in the above we are creating the class equal to my course extends. So what we have to extend? So component react.component. So then after that, so after creating the class component, we have to create a constructor method. Okay. So this is constructor method. Inside we have to call a super statement. So this super statement, what is the use of this super statement? Super statement, this statement can call the whatever properties or methods are having this parent class. So all those methods we can able to access. So defining the super method while defining the super method. Okay. Now we are created, constructor is created. So then our render. So after this one, so we have to create a render method, right? So render method also created. So what is the use of render method? To return the HTML statements to the browser, we have to use the render. So then again, so we have to create a return. So that welcome to React class components. Okay, this one we are written. So then now, so this is my class, right? This is my class. So created a my course is a component name, class component name. And so whenever we are created a class component, so we have to extend the react.component. Okay. So inside class, immediately we have to create a a constructor method. Inside constructor method, we have to use the super statement. This super statement is having the ability to access all these properties and component, whatever so components is having or methods is having inside of this library, they are this package. Okay. So then after that we have to create a render method to return the HTML statement, to the browser. Now we can call constant my class, my custom class equal to a react dom dot create route document dot get element by id so then my, my custom class. Okay. So then after that, my custom class custom class dot render. So what is our this name, component name, my course. So we have to call this way. All right. Now created. Then we have to create this node in index.html, right? We have to create this node in index.html. Where is our index? Here it is. Inside div id equal to, okay, right? So then after this, where is index.js? Okay. So then we have to run it, right? So open new terminal, npm start. It is starting, server is starting. Then no worries. Right, welcome to React class component escape. All right, so here we are, right, class component. Okay, so for suppose, so what we can do inside of this, what we can do inside of this constructor. So we can define the state of class. We can define the state. So what type of variables we can access inside of this class? So we can pass the state. So inside of same class we are taking. So this dot state equal to, we are creating a new state. For suppose if you want to create a course here, course variable, course equal to UI course colon, so UI, here we are defining a state. So then how we can access this one, how we can access this one inside parenthesis. So inside of this one, so this dot state dot, what is this one, course. Okay, so this way we can call. Okay, now you can say, where is this one, here it is, welcome to UI class component. Okay, welcome to UI. Try. Okay, so this, all right. So the next one, so we can say a React component. So then after that, how we can create a files. So here now we are written so inside of this index file. So same way how we can create this one. So React is all about the reusing code as usual. So what we discussed in the function, the functional components, same thing. React is all about reusing the code, and it can be a smart to insert some of your components in separate files. To do that, create a new file with .js file extension and put the code inside it, Note that the file must start by importing the React, because of we are using the inheritance concept, this package we are taking, right? So same thing, so we are taking this class, and so inside of this one we can create a one folder, class RCLSS, class components. Okay, class components, where it is created, how it is created outside of this one, delete this one. So here we have to create a folder, CLSS class components, right? So inside this one, so we can create a new file, new file. Okay, so my class. Okay, dot js. Here we are created. So then we have to set it here. Okay. So before this one, before so this one, so whenever you are executing any component, so what we have to use? We have to use the export. We have to use the export statement, right? Export default default. So what is our component name? So this is my course I am exporting. Okay. So after exporting this one, we have to import it here. Import import. Okay, what is that one? So my course from. Okay, so open, so then dot slash, so where is class components? We have created a folder, right? Class component slash inside my class. Okay, so then now, so we can delete this one, delete it. So then now what is my course is called? See what it is happening. So it is showing some error. When we execute line number 1 to 4, class component myclass.js React is not defined. It is saying a React is not defined. So what we have to do? We have to go to that component. Where is that component? myclass.js inside. So the above we have to import. We have to import React from React. It's automatically came. So when we use the advanced editor, it is automatically came. So import React from or React. Okay. Now error gone. Now error gone. So if you can see now, welcome to UI training. Welcome to UI training. Right. Clear? So this is the way we can create a other file. Okay. So then after that, so React class component state, React class component state. So React class component state. So the next one is the React class component have built-in state object. So built-in state object. So what we created here? So React component class component. So what we are saying, so here React class component is having built-in state object. Okay, so here we are created, right? So built-in state object we are having. What is this one? React class component have built-in state object. This state object is where you store the property values. Okay, whenever you are trying to pass a variable dynamic variables, whenever we are trying to pass a dynamic variable. Okay, so then to access those one, so previously in the functional component how we can call, so whenever we are creating, so this way we can create it function name, and here, so here we can create it. So whenever we are calling, so that function, so inside this one we can pass it, right? Okay, c1 comma c2, so this way we can pass the parameters. So these parameters we can access using this. Okay, okay, so these parameters, right? So same way, so there is no other way. So we have to use the object only in whenever it comes to the classes. So we have to use the object concept. So in the React.js class component, we have a built-in object called state. We have a built-in object called state. Okay, so using the state method, so we can access the properties of the class. Okay, So when the state object changes, the component re-renders. Okay. Now see, we can see how we can access these methods. We already used this dot state course equal to or React.js. We already seen. All right. So then the next one, using the state object, using the state object. So how we can pass the multiple, how we can pass the multiple, or refer to the state object anywhere in the component by using this dot state property name. This dot state property name. Previously we created only one state, for suppose. So if you want to create a, for suppose, so if you want to create a multiple states, if you want to create a multiple state, so we can create it. So okay, so this way we can create it. This way we can create it with comma base, with comma base. Okay, clear. So now we can see we can create it. Okay, so here we already created. So this is my main course, main course. Okay, so then after that, comma, comma. Okay, so the next one, so course one, course one colon. So what we are having, HTML. Okay, so then comma, course 2 CSS, then course 3, course 3 JavaScript, so then course 4 ReactJS. Okay, so this way we can pass the multiple values. So previously we can use only one value, now we are passing the multiple values. Okay, so then how we can access these things, how we can access these things. Where is this one? So here it is. Inside render, inside render. So we are having the return statement, right? We are having the return statement. So this return statement, so inside this return statement, so whenever we are writing the multiple lines, so inside we have to write it, right? So when we are having multiple lines, so we have to use the top level node. We have to use it. Top level node we are creating. Okay. Welcome to this dot state. So main course we have to call it, right? Main course. Okay. So welcome to UI training. So then, so UI training includes. So then, so UI training includes 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 below. Okay, so then after that, so we can create a UL. Okay, so inside li, so we can create a this dot state dot course one. Okay, so then next one, course 2, course 3, course 4. Okay, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, now you can see. Now you can see, welcome to UI training. UI training includes below HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js. Okay. So for suppose I want to change this course for I want to change this course for. Okay, I want to change this course. So how I can change it? How I can change it? Okay, so whenever so I need to, so it's a dynamically, so we can include it. But so whenever we are clicking on a button, so that button can change the course, right? So now we can see, I can create a button here, button. Okay, so nothing is new. So whatever you learn inside of JavaScript, so same thing we can implement. So but it's a different syntax. Okay, so when we click on the button, so if you want to change something, so what method we have to use? On click method we have to use it, right? So type equal to button. So then after that, on click, on click. Okay, on click. So this dot change course, this dot change course. Okay, now change course, change course. Okay, so then, so inside of this one, it is this one. So inside change, this is a class where it is course constructor. So then outside of constructor, so we can write change course, change course equal to, this is a function, right? So this is a function name and this is a function braces, then this, this dot, this dot set, set state, state course 4, course 4 colon colon angular, angular JS. Okay, no errors. So then now we can see, so here we are having, so when I click on this one, it is changing angular JS. Okay, so when we load the initial, it is the react.js. So if you want to change this one, so we can change it as a change course. So for this one, we are using the, on sub, on click. So then this dot change course, this is a, this is a method name. We are calling this method. Inside this method, we are, we placed a method called set state. Okay, so we are already defined, this is a default states. So course 1 equal to this value, course 2 equal to this value, course 3 equal to this value, and course 4. So we are setting this value to react.js to angular.js. So this way we can include it. Okay, angular.js. Okay, so this is the way we can do the, we can do the class, class components, class component. Clear, right? So any doubts on this one? So class component. So the next one is the, next one is the react lifecycle render. So then change color, this one completed. Now react class lifecycle. Okay, so whenever we are using the react class components, we have to follow, whenever we are writing the medium components or big component, so then whenever we are working with the medium applications or big applications, compulsory we have to follow this class life cycle. Okay, so first one, life cycle of components. So in each and every class we are anywhere, not only this react, so for all the components, whenever we are having the classes components, they are having some procedures, right? So whenever in Java, so when we create a Java class, so the compulsory we have to create a object. Using that object, so we have to pass the properties, right? So whenever we have to create a object, we have to use the new keyword in other languages, right? So here also React classes also we are having life cycle methods. Okay, so each components in React has life cycle which can monitor and manipulating during three main phases. Okay, so whenever we are using the class component, so we have to follow three main phases. Okay, these three phases are, first phase is mounting. Mounting means we have to initiate the methods, we have to initiate the properties, we have to define the properties, and we have to create a methods. In that mounting process we are doing that one. Okay, like insertion of insertion of data. So then after that, updating means, so if you want to change any values, so then we have to follow the updating updating phase. Okay, so then unmounting means, so if you don't want to use those methods, we have to unmount. We have to unmount that. So we have to stop that class. Okay, so these three things. So whenever you can observe in this class, you can observe in this class, so we are followed two phases. So one is, first we are defining the properties. First one, we are defining the properties. So then after that, using this change course method, we are updated we are updated the value. That means, so we are followed the two two phases. One is mounting and second one is updating. Okay, we are followed two things, right? So then we can see one by one here. So first one is the mounting. In mounting means putting the elements into the DOM. Putting the elements into the DOM. Mounting means putting the elements into the DOM. React has four built-in methods. A React mounting phase has four built-in methods. So these things are very important. So in every React interview they can ask. So what is React lifecycle? How many phases are there? Okay. So in the